All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to talk about what a former TMT fighter had to say about Gervonta Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather's issue in a tweet that was retweeted by Gervonta Tank Davis himself. Let's talk about that in this video. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. We are back in the lightweight division, talking probably for the last time about this Gervonta Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather Jr. drama. If you are not familiar, Gervonta Tank Davis is going to be leaving Floyd Mayweather Promotions because of issues around Floyd's promotion of Gervonta Davis. And now there's a former TMT, the money team fighter, that co-signs with what Gervonta Tank Davis had to say and rips Floyd Mayweather Jr. for fake love, and pretty much saying that he was surprised that the relationship between the two fighters lasted as long as it did. Before I get into that though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so that you can be notified of when we release more videos, and also support us with our partner. If you do wager on sports at busr.ag/Fanon, we're running a promotion where if you wager on fights before the Eshae Smith Jr. The Eshae Smith Jr. Yordenis Ugas fight, will be giving $1,000 away. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. All right, so look, man, not the biggest fan of Eshae Smith since Eshae Smith retired from the sport of boxing. Early in his career, I was a fan of Eshae Smith. I remember Eshae Smith from the Contender Series, and before the Contender Series, he is a Las Vegas hometown kid who was a good professional fighter. I do not believe that he ever won a belt, and if he did, he won it for a very brief amount of time. A real solid fighter, but not really a superstar fighter. He got wind of what's going on between Gervonta Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and added his 2 cents on Twitter. But the bigger thing is that Gervonta Davis actually retweeted or recommunicated what the message was that Eshae Smith had shared. And basically what Eshae Smith said was, in effect, look, I don't talk about boxing a lot because the sport has gone to SHIT, you know, with YouTubers fighting, this and that and the other thing. He said, however, you know, every once in a while I got to come out and say something. And he's saying, talking about the Gervonta Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather Jr. situation, he's saying, look, I can tell you that the love is fake from Floyd Mayweather Jr. And then he comes back with another tweet and says, look, I'm really surprised that Gervonta Davis stayed with Floyd Mayweather Jr. as long as he did, right? Now, this is not the first guy. This is not the first guy, obviously, that I've heard say this, because Gervonta Tank Davis is saying this. I've also heard Mickey Bay say that several years ago. If you're not familiar with Mickey Bay is one of the co-trainers for Devin Haney. He's a former world champion. He has a fight upcoming with Tevin Farmer in Ghana for a non-title fight in Ghana. He himself had really big managerial problems with, I can't remember the guy's name, Deshaun, I do believe, who was the cousin of Floyd Mayweather Jr., was his promoter, was his manager, while Floyd Mayweather Jr. was his promoter, something that really kind of sounds funny to me. He had issues with Floyd Mayweather Jr. as a promoter. Then you also have a young kid named Richardson Hitchens, who just a few weeks ago was saying, look, I'm not getting the fight dates out of Floyd. I'm not getting the attention out of Floyd that I'd expected. And if he would invest more time in me, he would, you know, I would be a lot further in my career. So just for the record, this is not one guy. It's not 2 guys. It is not even 3 guys. It is at the very least 4 guys now that are talking about Floyd Mayweather Jr. and talking about Floyd Mayweather Jr. himself as a promoter and how they were not getting the attention that they needed out of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Now, as far as Gervonta Tank Davis, the fact that Gervonta Tank Davis retweeted this, to me, is just, he just keeps adding on more and more and more and more. And it's very, very obvious that this guy is serious about doing something else. However, I will say this at this point in time, that probably enough is enough. All right. People get the message that you're not happy with Floyd Mayweather Jr. I think it probably is time now just to have the fight with Rolly Romero. Beat Rolly Romero if you're able to beat Rolly Romero, which you should not. There should be no issue with him doing. And then from there, go ahead and make whatever type of deal that you're going to make after that. If he re-signs with Floyd Mayweather Jr., this next time, I'm going to take the same position that I would take that I take with Terrence Crawford, right? Terrence Crawford was obviously not getting the big fights that Terrence Crawford was wanting with Bob Arum several years ago. And despite the fact that he had not gotten the fights that he wanted several years ago, he still re-signed with Bob Arum. And then he went through the terms of the contract with Bob Arum, and now he's saying that Bob Arum is the reason that he didn't get the Errol Spence Jr. fight. However, when it was common knowledge before that Bob Arum was the reason why he didn't get the Manny Pacquiao fight. And the reason that I say that is because Bob Arum himself said that I'm the reason that the Terrence Crawford Manny Pacquiao fight didn't happen, because we knew what the outcome of that would be. Terrence Crawford was going to win, and they did not want to throw away Manny Pacquiao at that time. However, they still give the Manny Pacquiao fight to Jeff Horn, right? Same thing now is the situation with Gervonta Tank Davis. He's so much on the record now as being as expressing his dissatisfaction that if he re-signs for whatever reason, then it will be time to say, look, man, you really can't say anything else because you keep re-signing and re-upping for the same situation. Now, I heard a Fight Hype interview, or at least I heard a little bit of the Fight Hype interview when he said was something about a response to Leonard Ellerbe, which was like, yeah, show me the money, right? Now, if the money is the issue, right, and not the fights, then, Floyd Mayweather Jr. can just, give him higher bonuses, invest more money in Gervonta Tank Davis. But if getting the big major fights are the issue, I don't really know what Floyd Mayweather Jr. is going to do any different this time than he did last time, unless Floyd is going to be willing to take some risks and let Gervonta Tank Davis be available to fighters fighting over there on Top Rank, because more than likely that's where all of those belts are going to be for the next foreseeable amount of time, and that is with Bob Arum. Bob Arum, however, will probably not give Gervonta Tank Davis shots at those belts without them having at least the option of fighting with them a couple times. At least that's how I see it. But anyway, another guy throws his hat into the issue with Floyd Mayweather Jr., so safe enough to say that there really is something there. But in the same breath, all of these guys, to a certain extent, owe something to Floyd to the extent that they got that Floyd gave them opportunities to fight for championships, at least with, I think they all did. Mickey Bay became a champion. Gervonta Tank Davis became a champion. Eshae Smith, I think, was a champion for a short amount of time, except for Richardson Hitchens. Richardson Hitchens has not yet had his opportunity. I think a lot of the problem goes with promoting and giving these guys opportunities for really good fights on a consistent basis. But anyway, that is my take on the situation. You let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you so much for your support for the channel. And with that, I'm out. Peace.